This is Kathy Biehl of EmpowermentUnlimited.net with Astro-Insight for the week of November 16th, 2020. Monumental processes are in motion that will continue to play out this week, next week, into the very beginning of 2021. But at least this week, we don't have anything new, intense, uncomfortable added to the mix. This week, we get more focus, we get maybe some clarity, and we have moments of stability being on offer. How is that for a change? The planet Mars is only beginning to move forward after he stationed direct on Friday the 13th. He'd been retrograde since about September 9, I believe, and he's in a process of moving on, moving forward, igniting, taking the battering ram for one last slam against a collapsing castle door. It is probable that you'll have more energy, that you'll have a sense of coming back online, of feeling like it's worth actually trying to do something, to get something done. The futility of a lot that we've been experiencing seems to have just blown up at some point recently. And this week, we begin the week wanting more. We've tasted something, we want more. Social issues could be huge, socializing, relationships. Venus, the planet that rules all of those, in the sign of Libra, which is her relationship central home base, is in a shoving match with Jupiter, who wants more of anything he touches. They're both planets of indulgence. This is likely to not be an unpleasant or an uncomfortable experience, but instead, I want to talk to my friends. I want to be with my friends. I want to fill in the blank. We get pulled out of the muck and confusion, possibly, or whatever the negative emotions are, lower emotions that we've been stuck in. When Mercury, the planet that rules communication, has a standoff with his higher octave, his crazy genius uncle Uranus, they're opposing on the 17th. Something could snap in the way we're looking at things. We could see change. We could see a different way of doing something, be thinking about it a lot and not yet be in a position to implement. Show me another way to look at this is a terrific way to harness this. Think of Benjamin Franklin, whether this is true or not, going out into a thunderstorm with a kite with a key on the end of it, trying to harness lightning. That's what you're doing. The middle of the week brings what might be the most uncomfortable moment when we hit a wall, when there are demands for commitment, when there's something that says, would you put up or shut up? When there is a desire, a demand for commitment, structure, order, could be in a relationship, could have to do with your own values. And there's an opportunity, there's an opening to actually bring something into being, to actually find something more solid, more grounded, and a really wise way to go about any of this always is to look for the anchor in yourself first. You may be pleasantly surprised at how you feel better about everything in your life when you do that. And especially this week, if you go into a negotiation, just in general, solid in yourself and knowing what you want and need, then you do not have desperation in the negotiation and you're going to get through it in a much better way. That's where we are midweek. And then the energy really starts to shift. The atmosphere, the way we're approaching all kinds of things. Venus leaves her light and airy, and can't we all just get along home of Libra and dives into Scorpio, where our hearts get X-ray goggles. We have fearlessness and vision. We have perceptiveness. We get very possessive of whatever the things are that we value most, whatever our treasures are. This is Gollum and my precious territory. The shift takes us from taking other people into account, to diving into what is most important to us, to looking below surfaces, to being able to see what the motivations are, what people are up to read secrets. And we're not entirely scary with this because at the same time, on the same day, the sun moves into Sagittarius, which is let's just go have fun, let's have an adventure, let's explore, let's go outside. These two together bring optimism and the ability to see possibilities and to laugh and to have fun at the same time that we are extremely careful and selective about where we put our heart, where we put our money. Less is more is one way of looking at this. They're not entirely dovetailing or complementary approaches to life, however, and no surprise, by Sunday, likely there's going to be some kind of tweaking that is necessary for you. Mercury, which rules what goes in and out of our minds and our mouths, is in an adjustment aspect with Mars, which is how we go about things. So walking our talk doesn't come automatically. There is some adjustment that has to be made, and it could be on either end. Perhaps our thinking or our communication needs to shift somewhat to be able to move our motivations, to be able to move our ambitions forward. Perhaps we get information or we realize through our minds that it's necessary to adjust how we're going about things. Watch for the sensation of starting to get out of, starting to move out of whatever 2020 has brought for you and starting to approach a different experience of reality. Homing thought of the week from 1 Corinthians 13. And now these three remain, faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. The song of the week, pretty old, Higher Ground by Stevie Wonder. And the image of the week is actually finding a needle in a haystack. You'll learn more about all this in my forecast for the month of November and for last week's Scorpio new moon at my site, empowermentunlimited.net, where you can sign up for my mailing list and book a session with me. I'm Kathy Biehl, a professional astrologer with more than 30 years' experience. I have lots of lively discussion on Facebook at Empowerment Unlimited in the group The Astro-Insight Lounge. Lots of bonus content at patreon.com/Kathy Biehl, and I'm really grateful to the people who are supporting my work there. I post on Instagram at @KABiehl and on YouTube at The Professional Aquarian Channel. Talk to you next week.